Hi Akupo and welcome back to Doki Doki Literature Club, and I hope that you all have your poems, because I don't. I'm about to do that right now. And from what I started thinking about on who I wanted to get close to, and I want to get close to Yuri. So she likes the dark and spooky and dark stuff. So no, I'm already doing it wrong. Okay, let me see. Bubble, no. Romantic, electricity, there we go. Melancholy, there we go. Inferno, yeah, she likes the dark stuff. She's so dark. Secretive cry, massacre. Is there another word besides massacre? Graveyard, there we go. Vicious? I don't know. And just a heads up, it's early in the morning. I just woke up, so my reading is probably gonna be bad. So be prepared for lots of mistakes. Desire, a pleasure, yeah. Philosophy, heart, climax, frightening. Vitality, tenacious, bliss, destiny, uncanny. Let's go with infinite, eternity, and last but not least, hopeless. Bring my masterpiece to the class. Another day passes and it's time for the club meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable even here the past couple days. Entering the club room, the usual scene guest greets me. Hi, Kupo. Yo, Sayori. Yo, looks like you're in a good mood today. I'm just still not used to you being in the club, that's all. I see. That's a pretty simple thing to get you in a good mood. But I guess it's always the simple things with you anyway. Speaking of which, I'm kind of hungry. Will you come with me to buy a snack? No thanks. I don't eat after 12. That's not like you at all. I have my reasons. Why don't we just take a look at your purse, Sayori? Why look at her purse? Why that all of a sudden? No reason, really. I just wanted to look at it. Oh, why does she, like, hoard snacks? Sayori nervously retrieves her coin purse. She fumbles with the latch and gets it open. Then she turns it upside down and lets its contents spill onto the desk. Only 2 small coins fall out. I knew it. I can see right through you, Sayori. That's not fair. How did you even know? It's simple. If you had enough money in the first place, you would have bought a snack before coming into the club room. So either you're not hungry or wanted an excuse to take a walk, or you plan to conveniently forget that you spent all your money so that I would lend you some. But there's one more thing. You're always hungry, and so that only leaves the one option. I give up. Don't make me feel guilty. If you feel guilty, that means you deserve to feel guilty. Ha ha ha. Yuri suddenly giggles. I didn't notice that she was listening in. Her face is in her book, as always. Oh, typical. I wasn't listening or anything. I was just something in my book. Yuri? Tell Kupo to let me borrow some money. Don't get me involved like that, Sayori. Besides, you should only buy what you can responsibly afford. And frankly, after pulling a mischievous little stunt like that, your suffering is fair enough retribution. Did I just... I didn't mean that. I got too absorbed in my book. You. I really like when you speak your mind, Yuri. Yuri. It doesn't happen much, but it's a fun side of you. There's no way you could think that. You were right, though. I did something bad, and now I have to accept the revolution. Retribution. That! Still, coming from you, Sayori, I guess there's a little devil inside of us, isn't there? Is there? Don't let her fool you. Sayori knows everything, exactly what she's doing. After all, she told you guys she was bringing me to the club before she even told me. But, You wouldn't have come if it weren't for the cupcakes. So I had to trick Natsuki into making them. Come on, give me more credit than that, Sayori. Did she get slapped? Out of nowhere, something smacks Sayori in the face and tumbles onto the desk. Ow! What was... Huh? A cookie? Sure enough, it's a giant cookie wrapped in plastic. Sayori glances around. Is this a miracle from the cookie gods? It's because I paid my restitution. Yeah, retribution. Actually, that one almost worked. Ha 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 ha! It is I. I was just gonna give it to you, but then I heard you blab about the cupcakes. It was totally worth seeing your reaction, though. Ah 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 ah. Natsuki, that's so nice of you. I'm so happy. Sayori hugs the cookie. Jeez, just eat it. Sayori rapidly tears open the wrapper and takes a big bite. So good. Oof. Sayori suddenly collapses her hands over her mouth. I bit my tongue. Just according to plan. Just going through a lot over just one cookie. Natsuki takes a bite of her own cookie. Yours looks really good too, Natsuki. Can I try? Jeez, beggars can't be choosers. But yours is chocolate. Yeah, why do you think I gave you that one? Fine. Still, I'm really happy that you shared this one with me. Sayori gets out of her seat and goes behind Natsuki, then wraps her arms around her. Jeez. I get it. Cookie still in hand, Natsuki reaches out to nudge Sayori's off of her. Sayori suddenly leans down and takes a bite out of Natsuki's cookie. Hey! Did you seriously just do that? Mouthful, Sayori trots away to safety. Yuri and I laugh as well. Oh, we're so cute. Jeez, you're such a kid sometimes. Monika, can you tell Sayori? Huh? Natsuki glances around. Monika isn't in the club room. Ugh, where's Monika anyway? Good question. Have any of you heard anything about her being late today? Not me. Yeah, I haven't either. And I text her all the time. That's a bit unusual. I hope she's okay. Of course she's okay. She's probably just had something to do today. She's pretty popular after all, unlike us who have to be in a literature club. You don't think she has a... I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably more desirable than all of us combined. That's true. Excuse me? Suddenly the door swings open. Sorry, I'm super sorry. There you are. I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything. Huh? Monika chose the club over her boyfriend after all. You're so strong-willed. Boyfriend? What on earth are you talking about? Monika quizzically glances at me. Never mind that. What held you up anyway? Well, my last period today was study hall. To be honest, I kind of just lost track of time. That makes no sense, though. You would have heard the bell ring at least. Must have heard it since I was practicing piano. Oh, first you're studying and now you're playing the piano? I wasn't aware you played music as well, Monika. I don't really. I just kind of bang on the keys so I could be late to this dumb club. I kind of just started recently. I always wanted to learn piano. That's so cool. You should play something for us, Monika. Monika looks at me. Why you keep looking at me? Maybe once I get a little bit better, I will. Yay! That sounds cool. I'd always look forward to it. Is that so? In that case, I won't let you down, Kupo. Look at that pose. Monika smiles sweetly. I didn't mean any pressure or anything like that. Don't worry, I've been practicing a whole lot recently, and I'd really love the chance to share once I'm ready. I see. In that case, best of luck. Thanks. So I didn't miss anything, did I? No, not really. I choose to leave out Sayori's mischievous escapade. I'm sure Natsuki will end up complaining to her anyway. It looks like everyone has already settled down. Sayori already finished her entire cookie. Yuri is back to her book. Natsuki disappeared into the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more. I sure am. I wrote a poem just for her. But at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap! I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. I'm looking at you. I see you. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed it in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book that you gave to me, right? I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Oh, I'm just curious. How come you have 2 copies of the same book, Yuri? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about, anyway? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright, I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Just like this game, maybe? Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Kupo? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into these things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again, stupid. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest in the book or you or the book. Well, I guess it's all right then, but I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. I could listen to you talk about strange things all day. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all, duh. Oh, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. Ha 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 ha. What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Uh, Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? Right next to you. I slip into a seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to, it's just something I am not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or something. Alright. I open the book and I start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over, and it looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just... You really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Oh, Yuri. Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's and hold my book more between the two. Woo! The two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each learn and lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. I could feel it. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page, doesn't it? Here. Oh, yeah! Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her page. Oh, this is getting intense! But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? Huh? To turn the page. Oh, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I could do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it. It's under her thumb. Hey, Yuri? This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second guesses all of the things that she says and does. Look, she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into her head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment, but Kupo, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that. Well, wait! I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. Huh? I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. Huh? What are you saying all of a sudden? Ah! Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we shared today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, sparred from finishing her thoughts. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not that. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book and then slip it back into my bag. Who should I show my poem to first? Well, Yuri, of course. Let's see what you've written for today. Huh? Yuri stared at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it? Kupo, how did you pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday I was telling you the kind of techniques worth practicing. Maybe that's why. You did a good job explaining. I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yeah. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty. I'm not used to this. Used to what? I don't know. It's fine. Just take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer that patience to her. Yeah, just being appreciated like this, I guess. It probably sounds really stupid, but seeing someone motivated by my writing, it makes me really happy. Are you saying you've never shared your writing before? Yuri nods. Or this way, whatever. Really, I don't believe it. I really only write for myself, and besides, people would just laugh at me. What? I'll beat those guys up right now. Do you really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh? Even your close friends? Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Anyway, do you want to share the poem you wrote today? Yeah, I do. If it's with you, the raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for the guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious, well aware of the consequences, well aware of the, I'm just going to read it fast, well aware of the raccoon that is fed would always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was the symptom. The bread, my hungry curiosity, the raccoon, an urge to kill the raccoon, a moon increments, you know the word, its phase and reflects that much more light off of my cutting knife. The very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread fresh and soft. The raccoon becomes excited, or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of blood. Classic something conditioning. I slice the bread and feed myself again. Whoa. I was a little more daring with this one than yesterday's. I could tell. It took me forever to read. I couldn't even read some of the words. I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem is about. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Poems, you're not supposed to get them. You just read words and you're just like, cool. That's right. It's a bit closer to my preferred writing style, using the poem as a canvas to express vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them. Yeah, if I take it at face value, then I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean. Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way. I wanted to express the way it feels for me to indulge in more unusual hobbies. If those sorts of things I'm usually forced to keep to myself. So I sometimes enjoy writing about them. Why do you keep them to yourself? Because they're embarrassing and people would make fun of me? Don't you have anything like that, Kupo? Well, yeah, I guess I do. I feel like everyone has a little something like that. The best we can do is respect each other and our individualities. Yeah, that's the word. even if it's difficult sometimes and some things make us uncomfortable. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. I might be ranting a little bit now, but I'm glad that you're a good listener. Me too. Sayori. Huh? Ooh, I like this one, Kupo. It has some nice feelings in it. Oh, I'm glad. Still, though, your tone makes it sound like you liked yesterday's poem better. I guess you caught me. Sometimes you know me a little too well for my own good. Well, don't just try to be nice about it. If I'm doing a bad job, then I'd rather just hear it. No. I still like this one, I promise. You know, I wouldn't lie to you, Kupo. Never ever. Yeah, I guess so. That means yesterday's poem so great. What made yesterday's poem so great compared to this one, then? Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad. Me neither. But that's why I just go by my heart. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem. I'm not sure that's exactly how it works. Well, for me it does. Then again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of this whole thing. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place. Yeah, me neither. Why don't you at least try giving it some thought? You want to write something for me? That's so sweet. Yeah, right, that's what I meant. But you're always thinking about other people. You need to think about yourself for once. If you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point. When is this going to be making a turn? We're talking about devils and getting hurt. Well, I don't really know what you mean. I didn't get to finish reading that. Anyway, well, whatever. Anyway, let's see. I guess I like happy poems. Wait, sometimes I like sad poems too. Sometimes a little bit of both. There's a word for that, right? I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Bittersweet. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like things that are happy and things that are sad. Happy and sad? I can't see you liking something sad, Sayori. Well, I like happy the most, but sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug. And squeeze the rain out of it until it's no more. And make a nice happy rainbow. Sayori, that's unexpectedly poetic. Huh? It is? Maybe you should write that. Maybe I'm getting better at expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, Kupo. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay? Oh, this is so long. Battles. I pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. It's a secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine all rubbing together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly, but there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe, and I put the bottle on the shelf with all of the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in a bottle, all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends. Each bottle a starlight to make amends. Something my friend feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go. Like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and crannies. Digging and digging, scraping and scraping. I blow dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally, all done. I open up and in come my friends. In they come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them from the shelf one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, and shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading something. But all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head. Okay. I like that one. Holy crap! Sayori, did you really write this? Of course I did. Didn't I tell you yesterday I was going to write the best poem ever? I don't remember. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't expect something like this coming from you. Monica taught me a whole lot. And I've been really in touch with my feelings recently. I see that. It's almost kind of creepy. Creepy? Well, not exactly. Maybe because I'm used to you being cheerful? Well, never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out good, so you should be proud of it. Ah, thanks. I feel like it was meant to express myself this way. It even helps me understand my own feelings a little bit better. Writing is like magic. You've gotten pretty passionate about this, huh? I hope you keep it up. Yeah! Writing's the best! I'm gonna keep writing until I die. Don't go ahead of yourself. Sayori's always had a habit of getting obsessed with something before dropping it no more than a week later. I wonder if this is one of those times. But seeing the passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic. Got it. Let's go to Monica. Hi again, Kupo. How's the writing going? Alright, I guess. I'll take that. As long as it's not going bad, I'm happy that you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. Oh, then you better read this one. I wouldn't count on that. You never know. Want to share what you wrote for today? Sure, here you go. I gave my poem to Monica. Huh? Alright. Great job, Kupo. I was going, ooh, in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. That's what I was going for. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. Then you don't know me. Just look into my heart. It's so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put it into some effort. Ha, that's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. That's perfect because I wrote it for her. It's very challenging to write like that effectively. Both applying people to get something out of it just by feeling, or letting them deeply analyze all of the nuisance. I don't know if that's the right word. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level though. Oh, no. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learning by trying new things. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. Alright, let's take a look. Let me see how bad you did. Save me. The colors, they want to stop. Bright, beautiful colors. Flashing, expanding, piercing. Red, green, blue, and endless. Don't know. A cacophony? Cacophony. Yeah. Of meaningless noise. The noise, it won't stop. Violent, grating, waveforms. Squeaking, screeching, piercing. Sheen. Cassine. Yeah. Tangent. Like playing a chalkboard on a turntable. Like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. An endless poem of meaninglessness. Load me. Load you? Load you, alright. Say no more. It's even more abstract than your last one. Haha. I guess it's just the way I write. I'm sorry if you don't like it. No, I never said that. It's just a kind of thing I've never really seen before, I guess. I kind of like playing with my space on the paper. Choosing where and how to space your words can totally change the mood of the poem. It's almost like magic, like dark magic. The way I write the lines really short makes it feel like they're trying to speak over the noise. I see, I totally got that. It's still hard for me to tell what it's about though. Ha! Sometimes asking what a poem is about isn't the right question. A poem can be as abstract as a physical expression of a feeling or a conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Like, yeah, this is about nothing. Here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. Like this. Okay, return. You never know when you might change your mind, or when something unexpected may happen. Wait, is this the tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? Haha. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna save again. Yes. Okay. Natsuki. Something is gonna happen. Why would the game tell me to save if nothing was gonna happen? I like your last one better. Huh? Really? Well, yeah, I can tell you were a little more daring with this one, but you're really not good enough for that yet. I fell flat. That may be true, but I just wanted to try something different. I'm still figuring this out. I mean, I always like poems that aren't trying too hard. I hate when people try to sound fancy and add more meaning just by using annoying and complicated language. Just make it simple, cute, and to the point. Yuri's head over heels for all this cryptic nonsense, but I see right through that BS. Ha! Making your reader look so hard for all this deep meaning is just an excuse to have no meaning at all. I guess that's one way to look at it. Well, everyone has their own opinion, but my opinion is the best opinion. I'm sure you figured that out already. Anyway, here's my poem. Maybe you'll learn something. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wiggly, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a cute singing voice. I heard her singing my favorite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would pound to the rhythm of the words, but she likes spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. One time I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried not to let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. What if her friends start to like spiders too? That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it private. It doesn't matter if she doesn't hurt anyone. It's gross. She's gross. The world is better off without spiders. And I'm gonna tell everyone. So deep. So deep. I'm not bad. Not bad, right? It's quite a bit longer than yesterday's. Yesterday's was way too short. I was just warming up. I hope you didn't think that was the best I could do. Of course not. I like the other one better. Anyway, the message is pretty straightforward in this poem. I doubt I have to explain it, but do it anyway, because maybe there's another meaning behind it, just not liking spiders. Sometimes you can explain complicated issues with much simpler analogies. Yeah, it helps people realize how stupid they're being. Like, anyway, anyone would agree that the subject of this poem is an arrogant jerk. Do you know anyone like that? Of course, it's about how everyone thinks That doesn't matter. It can be about anything. I wrote it to be easy to relate to. Everyone has some kind of weird hobby or a guilty pleasure, something that you're afraid if people find out, they'd make fun of you or think less of you. But that just makes people stupid. Who cares what someone likes? As long as they're not hurting anyone, it makes them happy. I think people really need to learn to respect others for liking weird things. That's funny. Yuri wrote about something similar today. Huh? Did you say Yuri? Yeah. She said her poem was about an unusual hobby of hers. I didn't really get it, but she said something similar to you. That people shouldn't make each other feel insecure about those things. Really? Well, I mean, Yuri's pretty weird, so I wouldn't doubt that she has some weird hobbies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's not like I would judge her or anything. Natsuki has trouble finding words. I guess I should try not to be so mean to her. If she feels insecure about her weird behaviors and stuff, I mean, I always hate people who make me feel insecure. And Yuri made me feel insecure yesterday. But the way you put it, it sounds like she's learned her lesson. Well, I would say so. Even if her writing style is really different, I'm sure she'll appreciate the message in your poem. It's what I do best, after all. I don't like writing unless there's a good message to take away from it. Like, conveying emotions is important, but I want to make people think, it's not just feel. Remember that. Got it. I'm going to write a good one for tomorrow, so look forward to it. I sure will. Okay, everyone, we're all done reading each other's poems, right? I have something extra planned today, so if everyone could come sit in front of the room. Is this about the festival? Well, sort of. Ugh, do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in just a few days. we'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members. That's a concern of mine as well. I don't really do well with last-minute preparations. Don't worry so much. We're going to keep it simple, okay? We won't need much more than a few decorations. Shiori has been working on posters, and I've designed some pamphlets we can give out during the event. Okay, that's great and all, but that doesn't tell us what we're actually going to be doing for the event. Sorry. I thought you heard about it already. We're going to be performing. Performing? Monica? Yeah, we're going to be having a poetry performance. Each of us are going to choose a poem to recite during the event. But the cool part is, we're also going to let anyone else come up and recite poems too. Sayori's putting it all on the posters in case anyone wants to prepare ahead of time. Sayori, who's been coloring a poster, holds it up for us to see. Are you kidding me, Monica? You didn't already start putting those posters up, did you? Well, I did. Do you really think it's that bad of an idea? Well, no, it's not a bad idea, but I didn't sign up for this. There is no way I'm going to be performing. There's no way I'm going to be performing in front of a group of people like that. I agree with Natsuki. I could never in my life do something like that. Imagining it, Yuri shakes her head in fear. No. Guys. No, Sayori. I understand where you're coming from. Remembering that Natsuki and Yuri have never shared their poems with anyone until just a couple days ago. It's a lot to ask of them to recite their poems out loud to, a whole room full of people. I guess I kind of overlooked that, so I'm sorry. But I still think we should give it our best. We're the only ones responsible for the fate of this club. If we start the event and each put on a good performance, then it will inspire others to do the same. The more people who perform, the better we'd be able to show everyone what literature is all about. Yeah. It's about expressing your feelings, being intimate with yourself, finding new horizons, having fun. That's right. And it's those reasons that we're all in this club today. Don't you want to share that with others? To inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? I know you do. I know we all do. And if all it takes is standing in front of the room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it. Natsuki and Yuri remain silent. Sayori looks worried. I guess that leaves me no choice. I agree. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think that Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members. The least we can do is help them out a bit. Well, maybe, but... It looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just have to get over it. Alright. Phew. Thanks, Natsuki. What about you, Yuri? Yuri dejectedly glances around at everyone else's expectant faces. I guess I don't really have a choice. That's everyone. You're the best, Yuri. This club is seriously going to be the death of me. All this about death. Oh gosh. You'll be fine, Yuri. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. I want each of you to choose a poem of yours. We're going to practice reciting them in front of each other. No way! Monica, this is too sudden. Well, if you can't recite your poem in front of the club, how do you expect to do it in front of strangers? Oh, no. Don't worry. I'll start off to help everyone feel a little more comfortable. Can I go next? Of course. Now, let's see. Monica flips through her notebook to a specific poem she has in mind for herself. She then stands behind the podium. The title of this poem is The Way They Fly. Monica begins to recite her poem. Her clear, confident voice fills the room. More than that, her inflection is pristine. She knows exactly how to apply emotion behind each line she recites, bringing the words to life. Is there something she's done Is this something she's done before, or is she simply a natural? I glance around me. Everyone has their eyes on Monica. Sayori looks amazed. Yuri has an intense expression on her face that I don't understand. Finally, Monica finishes the recitation. The four of us applaud. Monica takes a breath and smiles. That was so good, Monica. Haha, thank you so much. I was just hoping to set a good example. Are you ready to go next, Sayori? I'll go next. Oh, Yuri's fired up all of a sudden. Yuri clutches a sheet of paper between her hands and stands up. Keeping her head down, she walks quickly over to the podium. This poem is called... Yuri anxiously glances at each of us. You can do it, Yuri. It's called Afterimage of the Crimson Eye. Yuri's voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple lines, her voice changes. It's almost like what happens when Yuri gets absorbed into her books. Her quivering words transform into the sharp symbols of a fierce and confident woman. The poem is full of twists and turns in its structure that she enunciates with perfect timing. This might be a rare glimpse into the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealing inside her head. Suddenly she finishes. Everyone is stunned. Yuri snaps back into reality and glances around her as if she bewildered even herself. It's up to me to save the situation. I'm the first to start applauding. Everyone joins me afterward. We give Yuri the recognition she deserves. It's not that we didn't want to applaud for her, but we were caught so off guard that we must have forgotten. As we applaud, Yuri holds the poem to her chest and rushes back to her seat. Yuri, that was really good. Thank you for sharing. Looks like Yuri is down for the count. Okay, I guess I'm up next then. Yuri hops out of her chair and cheerfully walks to the podium. This one's called My Meadow. Sorry I giggled. Sayori, it's a lot harder than I thought. How did you guys do it so easily? Try not to think of it like that you're reciting to other people. Imagine you're reciting it to yourself, like in front of a mirror or in your own head. It's your poem, so it'll come out the best that way. I see. Okay then, Sayori begins her poem. Somehow it feels like her soft voice was made as a perfect match. The poem isn't aimlessly cheery like Sayori is. It's serene and bittersweet. Word of the day. If I were to read this poem on paper, I probably wouldn't think much of it. But hearing it come from Sayori's voice almost gives it a whole new meaning. Maybe this is what Sayori meant when she said she likes my poems. It's like I get to reach more deeply into someone I thought I knew through and through. Sayori finishes and we applaud. I did it! Good job, Sayori. Even Kupo liked it. I guess that's a good sign. What does that even mean? I like all of yours. It comes out nicely, Sayori. The atmosphere of the poem fits you really nicely. But it might be that other way. It might be that other poems wouldn't work quite as well with that kind of delivery. Huh? I don't really understand. In other words, I've seen poems of yours where that sort of gentle delivery wouldn't work as well. They might need a little more focus behind them depending on what you're reading. I know what you mean. I've been practicing that kind of thing. It's just embarrassing to do it in front of people. The next time I'm going to make you pick a poem that challenges you a little more. We don't have much time before the festival, you know. Okay. Now, what's next? Natsuki. Don't make me go before Kupo. It's not like I can compare to you guys anyway. Might as well let Kupo lower everyone's standards a little before I have to do it. Natsuki. It's fine. I know mine sucks. I might as well get it over with. It's not like I have much of a selection of what to read. I'll just have to go with what I wrote for today. I stand up and step in front of the podium. Everyone has their eyes on me, making me feel terribly awkward. I recite my poem. Since I'm not exactly confident in my own writing, it's hard to put energy into it. Despite that, once I finish, I receive applause anyway. Sorry, I'm not really as good as everyone else. Don't worry about it so much. I think it's less about your abilities and more about your lack of confidence in your writing. That's something that'll prove over time, though. Yeah, maybe. Alright then, let's just leave. That just leaves Natsuki. Yeah, I'm going. Natsuki begrudgingly gets out of her seat and makes her way to the podium. This poem is called... It's called... Why are y'all looking at me? Because you're presenting. Huh. Anyway, this poem is called Jump. Natsuki takes a breath. Once she starts reciting the poem, her sour attitude disappears a little. While she's still a little unenthused, her poem has a rhythm and rhyme to it. It's Natsuki's trademark style, and it works surprisingly well when spoken aloud. The words feel like they bounce up and down as if it's giving life to the poem. Natsuki finishes and everyone applauds. She huffs back to her seat. That wasn't bad, was it? Easy for you to say. You better not make me do that again. Well, do you at least feel prepared enough to recite a poem in front of other people? I mean, doing it in front of other people will be way easier. I could put on whatever face I want for other people, but when it's just my friends, it's just embarrassing. That's a surprise, Natsuki. I think it would be the other way around. Well, that's just how it is? I don't know. Well, I guess in that case, you won't have much to worry about for the festival. That said, I want to thank everyone for coming through. It might be hard, but I hope that you'll all have an idea of what's it like now. Make sure you pick a poem to get enough practice for the festival, okay? I'll be making pamphlets, so let me know ahead of time what you'll be reciting. Jeez, I should probably find some other poem to recite then. That's fine too. That doesn't have to be your own. I'm already pleasantly surprised that you're putting in all this effort for the club. It makes me really happy. Yeah, no problem. Okay, everyone. I think that's about it for today. I know the festival is coming up, but let's try to write poems for tomorrow as well. It's been working out really nicely so far, so I'd like to continue that. As for the festival, we'll finish planning tomorrow, then we'll have the weekend to prepare. Monday's the big day. I can't wait. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. All right. I stand up. There's no way I'll be able to find the same enthusiasm as Sayori and Monica, but I'll do my best to get through it. If it's for the sake of this club and impressing Monica. First of all, that's what I'm trying to do. Then I'll have to do my best. Ready to go, Sayori? Yup! Look at you two, always going home together like that. It's kind of adorable, isn't it? I could take you home too, Monica. I could take you home if you want. Jeez, guys. Don't make such a big deal about it. It must be a little nice though. I'll take you home too. I'll take you guys home too. Am I supposed to respond to that? It's okay, Koopa. You don't have to say it. Whatever. Let's go already. I'll take them home. I walk home with Sayori once more, and even though it's only been a few days, a lot of things have already changed. But today Sayori is being a little quieter than usual on the way home. Hey, Sayori? Huh. Sorry, I was spacing out. No wonder. I was thinking about something from earlier. I like how we get to it. Huh? I mean, Sayori fumbles with her words, so let's just say that one day Yuri asked to walk home with you. Huh? What would you do? What kind of question is that? I would definitely walk her home. You're kind of putting me on a spot here. I would still walk with Sayori. I would walk with Yuri. I would walk with Yuri, no question. Walking home with Yuri, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? Oh! I mean, given how hard it is for her to socialize, I would feel awful turning her down. So, isn't she so beautiful and smart? Yeah. That has nothing to do with what I just said. Just admit it. Jeez. There's not even any point of speculating something that's ever going to happen. Well, maybe. Are you saying that I could turn back and walk her home? But I just like to think about it. It's not long before you won't need me anymore, you know. Need you? Sayori, I can't figure out how you're seeing things in your head right now. Sorry. Everyone is different. Nobody in the club is a replacement for you. Huh? If you say so. The conversation trails off and I'm left feeling awkward. But it was kind of her fault for trapping me in with such weird question. I can't just lie to her. But if there's something that happens, makes her happy, I would hate to take that away from her. That's why I said there's no point of speculating. Then again, the festival is only a few days away. Who knows what will happen in that time? Do we? Okay, let's make Yuri happy. Melancholy. Memories. No. No! I know you like Massacre. Okay, Massacre. Judgment. Frightening. Infinite. Intellectual. Heaven sent. Anxiety. Horror. Extraordinary. Grief. No! It's not looking good. Okay, let's... Disaster. Tragedy. No! I'm going the wrong way. Eternity. Whisper. Inferno. Philosophy broken. Broken. What am I doing? Vertigo. Destiny. Crimson. It could have gone either way. I don't know who's going to like it more. Oh, man. I'm the last one here again? Don't worry. I just walked into... Were you practicing piano again? Yeah. You must have a lot of determination. Starting this club and now picking up piano? Well, maybe not determination, but I guess passion? Remember that the club wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. And I'm super happy that you're all willing to help out for the festival too. I can't wait for the festival. It's gonna be great. Huh? Weren't you complaining about it yesterday, Natsuki? Well, yeah. I'm not talking about our part of the festival, but it's a whole day of school where we get to play and eat all kinds of delicious food. You sound a bit like Sayori all of a sudden. Monica, do you usually have fried squid? Squid? That's a pretty specific thing to look forward to. Oh, come on. Are you saying you don't like squid? You of all people. I didn't say I don't like it. Besides, what do you mean by you of all people? Because it's right in your name. Monica? Huh? That's not how you say my name at all. Also, that joke makes no sense in translation. Huh? Never mind. Let's just focus on your own event for now, okay? Fine. Your reactions aren't as fun as Yuri's or Sayori's anyway. Excuse me? Where is Sayori anyway? Oh, there you are. Sayori is sitting at the desk in the corner of the room looking down at nothing. I walk over to her. Hey, Sayori. I wave my hand in front of her face. Huh? You're spacing out again. Sorry. Don't mind me. You can go talk to everyone else. Is everything all right? Of course. Why wouldn't it be? It's just like you're a little off. Sorry for assuming things. Jeez, you worried too much about me. I'm fine, see? Sayori shows me a big smile. Don't let me distract you from having fun with everyone. Well, alright. If you say so. I worriedly glance at Sayori before turning back towards everyone else. But the conversation has already dispersed with everyone back at their usual activities. Maybe I should ask Monica if she's noticing anything about Sayori recently. Since they've been preparing for the festival, they must be spending a lot of time together. I timidly approach Monica, who is shuffling through some papers at her desk. Koopa, what's up, yo? Hey, this might sound a little strange, but have you noticed anything up with Sayori recently? Anything up with her? In what way do you mean? Maybe I'm reading into it a little too much, but she seems a bit downcast today. Oh, you think so? I can't say I've noticed anything about her. Monica peered across the room at Sayori, who is idly dragging a rubber eraser up and down her cheek. Maybe there is something on her mind, but I'm surprised I'm not the one asking you, Kupo. You certainly know her a lot better than I do. Yeah, but she's never really like this. She always talked to me about things that bothered her, but this time when I asked her, she was really dismissive. Sorry, I know it's not your problem. I just wanted to ask if you knew anything, so I'll drop it now. No, it's important to me too. I mean, I'm also friends with her. I also care about the well-being of my club members, you know. Maybe I'll try talking to her myself. Huh? Are you sure about that? She seemed like she wanted to be left alone. Are you sure? Maybe she just has a hard time bringing up with a person of interest. Person of interest? What do you mean by that? I'm saying that maybe the thing on her mind is you, Kupo. Me? How on earth would you come to that conclusion? Huh? Well, I probably shouldn't say too much, but Suri talks about you more than anything else, you know. Huh? She's been so much happier ever since you've joined the club. It's like an extra light was turned on inside of her. Huh? No way. Suri is always like that. She's always been full of sunshine. It's not any different now that it always has been. Ha! You're so funny, Kupo. Have you thought that maybe you've always seen her as so cheerful? Because that's just how she was when she's around you. Huh? I said too much. I'm sorry. What do I know anyway? I didn't mean to jump to conclusions, so you should just forget about what I said, right? I'll try to talk to her, so try not to think about it for now. Huh? Alright. Monica smiles meaningfully. I know she said to forget about it, but I already know that I won't be able to get her words out of my head. Monica stands up from her desk and walks across the room to where Sayori is sitting. I watch her kneel down next to Sayori and gently talk to her, but she's keeping her voice so quiet that I can't hear her from here. I sigh and sit myself down. I know Sayori told me not to worry about her and to have fun with everyone else, and that's impossible to do when she's behaving like this. Exactly how much do I care about her that I'm letting this weigh me down so much? Now it feels like I'm the one behaving out of ordinary. But there's nothing I can do besides wait for Monica. Why does it feel like I'm being watched? I glance around the room. Suddenly, I notice Yuri peering at me from over her book, but she looks away as quickly with a flustered look on her face. I realize that she won't get anywhere like this. I've never really seen Yuri approach anyone or start a conversation on her own accord, so I have no choice but to approach her myself. By now, it's a little easier for me to do that. I stand up from my desk and sit in the one next to her. Huh? I didn't mean to bother you or anything. Relax. You didn't even do anything. But I could tell you wanted to be alone with your thoughts. Alone with my thoughts? How were you even able to tell that I was thinking like that? Well, it's something like that. Something that I do a lot. So it wasn't hard to me to spot based on your posture and expression. Not that I was staring or anything. I didn't do anything creepy like that. In any case, I guess you were right. I'm sorry if I caused you any concern. Don't apologize. Your troubles are only the concern of those who willingly share in their concern. Of course, there are certainly those who find the most comfort in keeping to themselves. But if you would prefer to share what's on your mind, then I would be glad to listen. And that's really not the big of a deal. I was just feeling a bit uneasy about Sayori. Sayori? Yeah, she seems a little off today. But when I asked her about it, she didn't want to admit it to me. So I can't help but wonder if something happened to her. Oh, that's quite romantic. Huh? Sorry, I didn't mean to say something stupid. It's not that, I just didn't want you to misunderstand. Sayori and I have just been friends for a long time, that's all. Just friends. We're just friends. It's okay. Ah, I see. Perhaps it is unusual for her to be dismissive to you about her feelings. Or maybe I'm just reading into it a little too much. Kupo, the world is full of meaning, often hidden deep beneath plain sight, and there are many untold mysteries behind every person, no matter how well you may know them. Huh? So you think that there might be something behind it after all? I think that Sayori is a very complex person. Her mannerisms on the outside don't always match what may be going on inside her head. And she may not always know what she wants. I noticed her strange behavior today too. And I always feel some concern for her. But in your case, it looks like she was fully occupying your thoughts, wasn't she? Well, I guess that was the case. Sayori, she really means a lot to you, does she? I guess. But you don't need to put that way. We're just good friends. That's all, Yuri. We're just good friends. Yuri suddenly looks deeply into my eyes. Her expression is gentle and curious, as if she was searching for something. Embarrassed, I avert my glance. Sometimes, a person's mysterious and untold even to themselves. And you, as someone's honest and caring, may uncover feelings you weren't aware were in you. That is, I think that she would be a very fortunate person to have you feel that way about you. Yuri, you're giving me too much credit. I'm a pretty simple guy, so I think I'm pretty good at understanding my own feelings. I'm not nearly as philosophical as you. That's not a compliment, is it? It is what it is. Anyway, as long as we're here, why don't we do some reading? Well, as long as you're okay with it. Yeah, I'm so okay with it. I should be taking my mind off this whole thing anyway. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Yes, let's. Actually, I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first? Oh, I love tea. Not at all. Thanks so much. If there's one thing that can make my reading time here any better, it's a nice cup of tea. Not to mention for yourself as well. Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with the filter inside. Yeah, can you hold this for a second? Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle. I'm going to plug this into the teacher's desk and then we'll go get some water. She walks past me and sets the kettle down in the teacher's desk. I simply watch her movements. So slow. So graceful. To my surprise, the way she moves really contracts her speaking mannerisms, especially because of her long legs. Yuri appears elegant and methodical. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks, I'll be right back. I might as well walk together with you alone, you know. Yeah, why not? Shall we go then? Yeah. Where are you two off to? To go make out? Are you jealous? Yuri was going to make some tea, so I suddenly realized how weird it sounds to explain this to Monika. We're just filling the water pitcher. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just a bit distracted. That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it? No. Monika, please mind your own business for once. Yeah, tell her. Okay. Oh, or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve Kupo in club activities? Huh? I mean, you could come too, Monika, if you want. You could come too. It's no big deal. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Then let's go. Yeah, Monika, jealous much? Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow. It's quiet in here, isn't it? Once in the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead against the wall. Huh? I spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? Yuri, something about the way she said that. It made me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? No, Yuri, I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not right for Monika to judge people like that, you know? Kupo, how come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me? Because nothing that you do is as bad as you make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. We have emotions. We can't always hide them away, but you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. No. Wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? Why would I hate you so? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? Yuri lifts her head. Kupo, I really like being friends with you. Ha. Thanks, Yuri. I like being friends with you, too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that, but I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Anyways, yeah? Shall we go? Yeah. Yuri and I walk to the nearest water fountain. Once we fill up the water pitcher, we return to the classroom. Kupo, do you like oolong tea? Oh, of course I do. Anything is fine. Very well. Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. Now it's time to get the teapot. You really do this properly, don't you? Of course. I shouldn't do any less when I'm making tea for others. Even if I'm not an expert on tea or anything. Hoo-hoo! In that case, you'll only be even more impressed. Perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now. I wonder why. Is that so? I was letting it show, and you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking, and I decided that I would try expressing myself a little bit more. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do. When it's you who's around anyway. Yes. That's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too much. You're always worrying about me, Kupo. I am, aren't I? You're always worrying about me. Oh, I read that already. It's very endearing. Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't know if I can keep up with this. I watched Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us. Kupo, I have another request. Yeah? Do you mind if we sit on the floor today? Why is that? It's a little bit easier on my back. I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk. Sorry, I didn't realize. I wasn't thinking. How rude of me. No worries. I just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to manage it. Is that so? I wonder why that is. I didn't even see that. It's most likely because my... Yeah? Your what? Your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading? I got you, yes. I have terrible reading posture. So that's why we should sit on the floor. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieve the book from my bag. I have some chocolate as well. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. I take it since it'll go well with the tea. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assume the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer together. The fire! I can't see too well. Huh? Yuri slides closer until our shoulders are touching. Am I supposed to focus on reading like this? Yuri was always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle. Your teacup. Yuri hands me my teacup. Holding it with my hand that's not holding the book, I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus. Because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest by accident. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away. I use all my willpower to focus on reading. Focused! After a few minutes, I finally manage to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. Sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. And that's okay. I won't take any. You sure? Well, if I touch it, then it might get smudges on the pages. You're right. I didn't even think about that. It's okay, I'll break some off and give you some, like a cute couple would. No need to apologize. I'll hold the book, okay? Are you sure? Of course. Whoa. Look at this light. Ah! Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so that I don't have any harder of a time reading it. But as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Well, in that case, Yuri is already totally focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into her mouth. Then I take another chocolate and I hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if the situation was completely natural. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate into her mouth. Just like that, Yuri closes her lips over it. Huh? Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. Did I just... Yuri looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened. Kupo? Sorry. I guess I shouldn't have done that. That's... Well, you were just helping. That's something that friends do, right? I mean, not really in this kind of context, but yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, then you don't need to stop or anything. I see. Okay, good. I wasn't gonna. The situation has gotten really tense. Yuri tries to return to the book, but I can tell just by her expression that even she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate between my fingers, but this time Yuri's eyes meet mine. You want some of this chocolate? You want some chocolate? You want some? Huh? How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her glance. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breaths. Yeah, I noticed that. I wanted to see how her breathing was going. I raise my arm. Like before, Yuri parts her lips, but it's different this time. She takes the chocolate and I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. Okay, everyone. Huh? What? Where am I? Huh? Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. Kupo, you can help Yuri put away the tea stuff, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll do that together. The spell is abruptly broken. I'll take care of the cups. Yeah. Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bags of chocolate. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. I get the feeling this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. I'll bring it up. Let's go to... We'll go in the same way we've been doing it. Kupo, your writing has only improved in these last few days. Every poem you've shown me has been nothing short of spectacular. I can really feel the emotion. I'm a little envious even. I don't think it ever came to me this naturally. Yuri, that's the wrong way to put it. This never did come naturally to me, but I've been able to improve so much thanks to you. All thanks to you. You're really the example I was chasing after. Is that so? Yuri gently smiles to herself. This feeling, I'm so glad I got the chance to share my writing. I never thought it would feel like this. I remember you mentioned that yesterday. I can't believe that you're so good at something and you've never even shared it with anyone. It's kind of a shame, maybe, but it's not like I really had a choice. What do you mean? Well, Yuri smiles sadly. Kupo, during lunchtime, I ate by myself. Did you know that? It's a great time to find a quiet spot and do some reading. In fact, I always have some books with me. You can say I really enjoy reading. Well, that's one way to put it anyway, but books are so full of amazing and inspiring people. People you want to fall in love with, or people you just know would make a really good friend. Cheerful people who always put a smile on your face, or deep thinkers and problem solvers who discover the mysteries of life. So when you look at it that way, I'm surrounded by friends every day, and those friends don't laugh at me. They don't tease me for spacing out all the time. They don't make fun of my body type. And they don't hate me for acting like a know-it-all. People say that about you? I'm not a know-it-all, Kupo. It's the opposite. I don't know anything. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to make people see me as normal. I don't even know how to make myself happy. I have all these feelings, and all I can do with them is read and write. And it wasn't until now that I started sharing it with you that I really understood what was missing all this time. But I haven't really done anything. No, that's wrong. That's incorrect. Just being patient and respectful. That's really important to me. I know I'm a difficult person, Kupo. I speak too slowly. I second guess myself all the time. I read too deeply into things every time. You're always treating me like just anyone else. It's so rare that I feel comfortable with myself when I talk to others. But that's why every time I talk to you, I just feel really happy. I see. Well, I treat you how you deserve to be treated, Yuri. And if other people don't see it that way, then screw them. Screw them. I mean, I joined this club hoping I would make friends, and I would say I've had at least one success. Wouldn't you? If you put it that way, yeah. We really are friends now, aren't we? Yuri puts her head in her hands, but this time she's smiling as she does it. Do you want to show me your poem? Yeah, I do. Let me get it for you. Beach. A marvel millions of years in the making, where the womb of Earth chaotically meets the surface under a clear blue sky, an expansive of bliss, expands of bliss, but beneath gray rolling clouds, an endless enigma. The easiest world to get lost in is one where everything can be found. One can only build a sandcastle where the sand is wet, but where the sand is wet, the tide comes. Will it gently lick at your foundations until you give in, or will a sudden wave send you crashing down in the blink of an eye? Either way, the outcome is the same. Yet we still build sandcastles. I stand where the foam wraps around my ankles, where my toes squish into the sand. The salty air is therapeutic. The breeze is gentle yet powerful. I sink my toes into the ultimate boundary line, tempted by the foamy tendrils. Turn back, and I abandon my peace to erode at the shore, drift forward, and I return to the earth forevermore. I'm aware that the beach is kind of an insane thing to write about, but I did my best to take a metaphorical approach to it. You say that like you didn't even want to write about it. Oh, you haven't heard? After yesterday, Natsuki and I was assuming that we wrote about something similar in such different ways. So Natsuki wanted us to write about the same topic as each other again. I suppose to better compare the differences in our writing styles or thought processes. Anyway, it was her idea. Knowing her, it's no surprise that she'd want to do something like that. She probably just wants to show off. It's not like I have a particular interest in her writing style. I just went with her request. But, well, I suppose it's not so bad to write about something simple on occasion, but can be refreshing, you know? It's good for me to calm my thoughts once in a while. Well, I think I agree. Thanks for sharing. And then let's go see how Sayori's doing. It's nice, I guess. Come on, I can already tell you don't like it. Well, you don't need to worry about that, I think. After all, you wrote this for someone else, didn't you? Yeah. I didn't write this for anyone specifically. Maybe. That's not really what I meant, though. But it's okay. You're making new friends just like I was hoping. That makes me really happy. And you're happy too, right? In this club? Well, of course I am. Good. That's all that matters to me. Thank you, Kupo. Sayori? Is there something wrong? Huh? No, nothing. I'm just a little tired today. Alright. Just tell me if you need anything. I will. Don't worry about me, okay? You can go play with everyone else now. If you insist. Yay! I'm going to go home a little bit early today. Sayori? Tell Monica I wasn't feeling well, okay? I'll see you tomorrow. Before I can say anything else, Sayori cheerfully walks out of the classroom humming to herself. That's a little weird. Monica. Hi, Kupo. Have you thought about what you want to submit to perform at the festival? Well, being in this club is one thing, but performing in front of a bunch of people? I'll have to give it some more thought. Okay, no pressure. But whatever you do, I'm sure it'll turn out great. It would also be happy to see. Ha! Anyway, let's take a look at today's poem. Sure. I let Monica take the poem. I'm holding it in my hands. This one's good. It feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? No! You can't deny that she's talented. Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. I noticed that too. And when she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside her. Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on in that head of hers? I hope you don't mean that in a bad way. No, of course not. I just meant that I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still defending her like that? You must be pretty into her. Huh? You completely misunderstood. Even though we were sitting next to each other and our arms were touching and I was feeding her, what gets you that idea? Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. Wait, really? Huh? Yeah, a fictional one anyway. Burn! Hey, don't talk to my girlfriend like that. Monica kind of whispers that last part to me. It's just a hunch, but, well, there's not really anything wrong with that. Oh, well, I know. I was just saying. Anyway, I'll share my poem with you now, alright? Alright. The Lady Who Knows Everything. An old tale tells of a lady who wanders earth, the lady who knows everything. A beautiful lady who has found every answer, all meaning, all purpose, and all that was ever sought. And here I am, a feather, lost adrift the sky, victim of the currents of the wind. Day after day I search with little hope, knowing legends don't exist. But when all else has failed me, when all others have turned away, the legend is all that remains. That last dim star glittering in the twilit, that's a word right there, sky. Until one day the wind ceases to blow. I fall, and I fall, and I fall, and fall even more. Gentle as a feather, a dry quill, expressionless. But a hand catches me between the thumb and forefinger and the hand of a beautiful lady. I look at her eyes and find no end to her gaze. The lady who knows everything knows what I am thinking, but I can speak to, so she responds in a hollow voice. I have found every answer, all of which amount to nothing. There is no meaning, there's no purpose, and we seek only the impossible. I am not your legend. Your legend does not exist. And with a breath, she blows me back afloat, and I pick up a gust of wind. You know, I feel like learning and looking for answers are the sorts of things that gives life meaning. Not to get too philosophical or anything, but it was kind of my own mind, so that's what I wrote about. I see. I never really put much thought into it. In a way, it's almost paradoxical. Because if we had all the answers, wouldn't the world start to lose its meaning? You know, there's one thing I noticed. It seems like everyone in the club prefers writing about things that are more sad than happy. Are you surprised? I mean, if everything was okay, we wouldn't really have anything to write about, wouldn't we? Humans aren't two-dimensional creatures. I think you know that better than anyone. You mean one-dimensional? Yeah, that. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Are you ever too shy to share your writing because you're afraid it's not that good? It can be really disheartening to get a lukewarm response to something that you put so much into. But if you find other people enjoy writing, then sharing becomes a lot easier. Because instead of just telling you that your writing is good or okay or bad, they'll want to focus more on everything that went into it and the things you can work out. It's much more encouraging that way, and it works. It will make you want to continue improving. It's almost like having your own little literature club, don't you think? That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Back to you, Natsuki. I guess you really haven't learned anything at all. Honestly, I don't know why got my hopes up in the first place. But I didn't think this one was that bad. What did I do wrong? Poems don't need to be all deep sounding and express something. I'm going to just sound like you're forcing it unless you really don't suck at it. Honestly, don't bother trying to write poems like this until you're on Yuri's level. Natsuki stopped short of all of a sudden. Don't tell me. Huh? You're not just trying to impress Yuri, are you? What? What are you talking about? And keep your voice down. You know Yuri would love this agasty. Just because she's a talented writer doesn't mean Ooh. Looks like I'm in trouble. I somehow struck a nerve, though that I did is beyond me. I'm so done with you. Azuki shoves the poem and I handed her back over to me. Take your stupid poem if you wrote it for someone else. Just don't show it to me. Ow. Is this what I get for letting a younger girl step into my business? Unless I was a mind reader, I was destined to be in a world of pain from the start. At least Natsuki wasn't really the girl I was trying to impress in the first place. Nope. Okay, you three. We're all done sharing poems, right? Why don't we start figuring out... Hold on a second! Is it just me, or did you say something strange just now? Huh? Something did sound a bit unusual. That's right. You devised from your usual catchphrase when addressing the club. Catchphrase? I don't have a catchphrase. Jeez, why is the mood so weird today? Look, even Yuri isn't immune to it. Ooh. Stagnating air is common, foreshadowing that something terrible is about to happen. In your books, maybe? What's gonna happen? Look, the only thing different is that Sayori isn't here. Oh, it seems you're right. Sayori always helps lighten the mood a little bit, doesn't she? It's almost like everyone's balance is thrown off a little when she's not around. Where the heck did she run off to anyway? I thought she just went to pee. Natsuki, please show some decency. Oh, come on. She actually wasn't feeling too well and went home early. Is that so? I hope she's alright. Seriously? Of all the times to not go home with her, you picked the time she's not feeling well? So much for you being too lovey-dovey. No? First of all, stop misunderstanding my friendship with Sayori. And second, she's kind of been avoiding me today, so I didn't want to force it. Oh. That curious expression coming from Yuri of all people? Calm down, guys. I talked to her earlier and everything is fine. What did she say? Anyway, we need to figure out the rest of the festival preparation, so let's decide when everyone will be doing this weekend. I already know what I'm doing. That's right. Natsuki will be making cupcakes, but we might need a lot of them and different flavors. Can you handle that all by yourself? Challenge accepted. And as for myself, I'm going to be printing and assembling all the poetry pamphlets. Sayori will be helping me design them. And as for Yuri, you can... Guys, can you help me come up with something for Yuri? I'm useless. No, that's not it at all. You're the most talented person here, you know. Now Natsuki's pouting too. Jeez, even I can tell now. I guess I never gave Sayori enough credit, but I can tell things are even harder on you when she's not around. That may be the case. But if I can't always be a leader on my own, then I won't grow as a person. So, Yuri, you have beautiful handwriting, you know. So you should make some banners and decorations to help set up the atmosphere. That's perfect! Atmosphere? About that, I love atmosphere. Yuri's expression suddenly changes as she stares at her desk and focuses and starts nodding to herself. Yes! Yes, atmosphere! Atmosphere! Your mind is already racing, I see. That's great. You'll be a wonderful help, Yuri. But anyway, that just leaves you, Kupo. The one who is truly useless. Yeah. Ha! Don't say that. In fact, both Natsuki and Yuri have some pretty heavy tasks to handle. It would probably go a long way to give one of them a hand. Oh, would it? You could always help me out as well. I would be really appreciative of that. I'm gonna save. Is Monica suggesting I spend the weekend with one of my club members? How on earth are they going to respond to a suggestion like that? I suppose I wouldn't mind a bit help. Well, even if you don't know how to bake, there's always some dirty work I can give to you. That's not like Monica's going to give me a choice, but you shouldn't be sitting on your butt anyway. Natsuki tries to mumble a bunch of excuses like that. If I recall, Natsuki, you mentioned that you would like to handle the baking on your own. Kupo may not like to be around if you only make him out to be a nuisance. So, therefore, he may be more suited to assisting with the decorations. Hold on, I never said that. How hard can it be to make a few decorations anyway? Sounds more like you're just making excuses for Kupo to... What are you saying? What? It would be extremely meticulous work. Yeah. And baking isn't? Just what do you think? Guys, let's settle down for a moment. In the end, I think it's up to Kupo to decide he'd like to contribute. Besides, he hasn't really gotten a chance to spend any time with me yet, you know? So I'm sure he's interested in... You literally just said, I'm surprised as well. Sorry. I was just saying, though... Jeez. Can we just settle this already? Yeah. Kupo, you're okay with this, right? In the end, it's up to you. Of course. Very well. In that case, everyone looks straight at me. This is hard. I want to go with Yuri, but I haven't spent time with Monica at all. I don't know what to do. Alright, so this is a really hard decision to make, and I just looked at the time, and I'm really short on time. I have to actually go. So this is going to be a cliffhanger for today. I don't know who to choose. It's either between Monica or Yuri, but anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Koopa Cola signing off.